it's a journey, right? So everyone is seeing lots of information, and some of it is quite dark, and it's that emotional support that we're giving each other, I think, that is helping people on their journey, but also to create something better for the future. So I suppose one of the things I'm seeing is that strangers are meeting for the first time all over the world with a common purpose for humanity. And that's what's really important to me and important to H.A.T.S. And it's what we try to do and encourages our culture that we built in, and our ethos is really about empowerment, love and light, obviously, but coming together as a collective across the world to actually take that energy into real life situations. And I think that's what we're starting to do now.
Well, because we really need solutions. We've got, like you said, these dark things that we've come across that are hard to look at, that most of us will experience cognitive dissonance the first time we come across.
So I worked at IBM on a project involving transhumanism. Basically, it's called Watson. It's a cloud technology that's designed to create algorithms itself, so that it's basically it's deep learning, machine learning, and it's designed to it's designed to do diagnostics, they claim, in the medical fields and a wider across different industries such as manufacturing. But what we quickly learned is, and it's connected to what's going on now with COVID and this whole idea that we are going to fuse with machines, basically, or technology. And for me, it was an ethical question, because for me, fundamentally, spiritually, that goes against my beliefs. And I don't think human nature should be fusing with synthetics.
Whenever I hear there's a lockdown, I just feel so sorry for those people, because people are free. We have human rights. We have natural rights, and no one can lock you down. I don't care if everyone is dying in the street. In Texas, things are fantastic, and they have been. I live in one of the most sheep-like cities in Texas, but I live outside of the city in the county, and I haven't worn a mask except for when I flew on an airplane in 9 months, and I won't. So I won't go anywhere where I have to. But I mean, we are wide open and free. The people who know, who've known all along, who did the research at the beginning that only cause viruses to spread more than, I mean, they don't, because nobody uses properly. They touch them, and then they touch the doorknob, or they touch the keyboard, or they shake hands with you, whatever, you know, they touch the food. Don't keep viruses from spreading. In fact, they spread them. So those of us who knew that, we've been hugging and getting together, and life's been really wonderful, because we've found the other people that want freedom so badly that we did the research and realized that weren't a good idea. Then that opens up a rabbit hole, because you recognize that maybe those that govern us, if you hadn't already detected it, maybe those that govern us aren't truthful and have another agenda. I don't know if the people in England are as aware of Agenda 21 as we are over here, and how that's just rolling out. I see the United States as being, the jig is up, as far as I can tell. I don't know everywhere. I went to Colorado. It's been a while, and they were super masky, and you could get fined for having people over. But then we went to Florida, and they're just all up in each other's business with no masks, and they don't care, and nobody's getting sick, and nobody's dead in the street, and life is wonderful. The people here are standing up for their rights in a way that we've never done before. I mean, well, not since 1776, you know, so when we had to like kick you guys to the curb. We were talking about division in England and here in the United States, and you were saying that it seems to be worse here. And yeah, I didn't realize it was because of social media. I didn't realize that was why. We all felt it. We're like, you know, there's always been two parties, which is always been a problem, because they've been in cahoots the whole time. But we saw this polarization in our parties, like that we don't remember with our parents. Your next door neighbor, you didn't even know who they voted for when you were a kid. And now everybody's all, oh, you voted for that person, I can't even talk to you. So they did this on purpose. And we the people have to recognize that 95% of what we have as humans is in common. We love our children. We want good education for our children. We want clean food and clean water and clean air. And none of us were asked when we were, if it was okay if they put fluoride in the water. None of us were asked if it was okay if they sprayed chemicals in the sky. None of us were asked if it was okay if Monsanto took over the world, the global food supply, and they sprayed everything with glyphosate. None of us, this has happened. And so the people have to become aware. And so that's why I'm really fascinated by your group, the Hardcore Awakened Truth Seekers. It's about coming back together, I think, and learning the truth, the ugly, ugly truth. And we're the ones that can change it. There's nobody else. We can't look and think, oh, somebody's going to do something about it. It's us.
Yes, exactly. And you're totally right there. And I was going to say the oldest trick in the book that the elites play is divide and conquer. So that's why they've done this, and it's kind of been they play on that division clearly to roll out future agendas. What I would say as well is H.A.T.S was founded value is above the left-right paradigm. We're about bringing people together and realizing that it's a divide and conquer strategy, but also to just present factual information. So whether you're a left person or a right person, you're getting sprayed on by chemtrails. So there's things that are above ideology. Because we're so divided and the media plays on that, and even in the alternative media, they play on that. Because there's alt-right media outlets, there's kind of more liberal, I guess, media outlets that claim to be alternative. I suppose what H.A.T.S does is it goes, well, we actually want to talk to you guys because we're all getting sprayed on. There's GMOs in the food, and they're rolling out a new world order.
The idea was, and they say it in Agenda 21, if you read it, and that they were the plan was to infiltrate on the local level, the entire world, our local school boards and city councils and our judges and our police forces and our medicine. And it's basically a communist takeover of the entire world to create a world global government in which no one will have any rights. And so if you know that, and one of the things that people can start doing, and that we're talking about over here, and I wonder if y'all are talking about it over there, is taking those things back. People need to go join the city councils and join their school boards and start creating the curriculums that your children should be learning, not the crap that's being taught. I don't know if it's being taught in London like it is here.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, they've got puberty blockers, or they're trying to get puberty blockers into the schools. I'm not totally up to date with that, but I know that's an agenda.
The what blockers? The what?
Puberty blockers for kids.
Oh, yeah, if they want to be, crazy.
Transgender, yeah. And remember, transgender is transhumanism, right? It's all part of that the whole trans is a wider spectrum. But yeah, there's a lot of toxicity in schools for kids. They're brainwashing them into this critical race theory, for example.
When our first child turned 4 and the idea of him going to school was kind of coming up, my husband and I thought, even at that point, it felt like throwing him to the lions if we sent him to school. So we've been navigating the homeschool community this whole time for over a decade, and it's amazing. The homeschool community here, it's been no good since COVID. Everything's been shut down. But when you think of humanity, and the hundreds of thousands or millions of years that we've been around, we don't really know how long that's been. I don't think there's a consensus there. But for all of those thousands and thousands and thousands of years, there was no school. People taught their children what was important. And we still do. If you think back to school, what do you remember? You remember what you enjoyed, what you were passionate about, and you remember standing in line and memorizing things and being a good student or being a bad student or being told you're a bad student or being told you're a good student, when in reality, life skills, people skills, the basics of, and then if you have a kid who's really academic, then absolutely put them down that path, but not every kid is. So
exactly, you're totally right. And it was leading on to another point here is that with the education system being ramped up through COVID, what we're seeing is they're trying to almost make kids like robots, like you say. They're trying to make them compliant because the future human's going to be needing to be compliant with this AI agenda. So in this new normal they keep banging on about, and this build back better, which again is their new slogan, it's all about complying. And I think a lot of this, like I go back to my original point as well about psychological, I think it goes beyond, it's part of that clearly, but it's about training people mentally for a system. So for socially distancing, wearing masks, following the rules. And so they're trying to bring that into schools so that the children are being indoctrinated to do that as adults. And that feeds in nicely to the into the AI agenda, because with AI, everything is very, very rigid.
Is there any way to put that transhumanism AI genie back in the bottle?
Well, yeah, because we don't have to consume it. And it goes back. I mean, I read a great book about David Icke years ago, and it's the tiptoe effect. And you start off like phones, for example, was designed to get people addicted to holdable technology. Then it was about wearable technology, which is the smart watches, the Google glasses, etc. And then that's the next step is going to be the implant, as we know.
Addiction on purpose, and how we are so addicted that you can't walk by your phone without turning it on and seeing if there's something that's going to give you a little dopamine hit. And they know that if someone just likes one of your posts, you get that little boost, and they know how to keep that coming. And so they've addicted us to our phones, every single one of us. And imagine having that in your body. Imagine having that chip to where you can't even set it down and say, I'm going to go a week of a detox. If it's in your body, I can't even imagine. So we do have to resist it.
No, it is a drug, like you say. And again, if you do the research, like one of the things I researched with behavior studies was the Tavistock Institute, and how that's feeding cultural Marxism as well. But more importantly, the chemicals in the brain. So we know that social media increases the dopamine in the brain. Now, if you're getting dopamine constantly from likes on Instagram, then you're going to be wanting more likes. And if you're not getting those likes, you're going to be depressed. Hence the reason why the mental health issues, especially in the Western world, developed nations, is through the roof, because people, if they're not getting attention on social media, they're getting depressed. They're taking, and that's very good for the pharmaceutical companies, because obviously they're getting dependent on medications.
Where else can they find hats? So what I was going to say is you can join Telegram if you haven't, and find hats, H.A.T.S. And it's H period A period T period S period, right?
Yes. So H.A.T.S, and then that will lead you to the group, which was about 13,000 people. And then we've got a channel called H.A.T.S Truth, all one, no spaces, which has about 21,000 people. But we post news and updates and lifestyle things on there. We've also got a website coming up and a YouTube channel coming up as well. But right now, those are the two places to go and find us. And yeah, more the merrier. It's great to see it growing, but it's also great to see the people empowered and growing with it. It's not about hats, it's about the community that we're bringing in, and hatters across the world, and the team of people that I have that I'm so lucky to have.
Well, it's the community that makes people feel better. I found physical community with other truth-seeking freedom lovers a few months ago, and we've been getting together, and obviously no one wears a mask, and no one would consider injecting themselves with something that is genetically modifying at all. No one. So we get together, and it has put my entire being deep down into my bones and my soul at ease to know that, that I've got this community.
Absolutely wonderful. And it's so great there's a voice chat that we have on H.A.T.S, which really allows people to express themselves, and everyone can be heard. And some people just, like, I've heard people cry on there, no one listens to me no one listens to me in the street, or where I'm at work, or my partner's not listening to me, and it's becoming overwhelming. But just having a voice is just so healing for me, and it's just wonderful to see that. And it's just so empowering and great. And the more of that we can do, then I think that's going to just raise the positive vibrations on the planet, hopefully, and we're playing a role in that, and that's great. And hopefully it'll manifest into something great. And even the protests that I'm involved in and help organize as well, that just by being there amongst people that are like-minded and get it and understand what's going on, it just gives people it's almost like it's like a really nice feeling that I'm not alone. And I think a lot of people have felt like that. We've all felt like that. When I was waking up years ago, and even until recently, I didn't have a community that I could talk to, and I just had books and videos on YouTube. I didn't have or couldn't find a community that could understand me, and my family wouldn't listen to me. And but by having this community, it's really inspired a lot of people to get their confidence again, and then we can do things. So,
well, so in my channel on Telegram is Freedom Junkie Radio and Freedom Junkie Radio Chat. And if you follow a few of those things like H.A.T.S, when people post things from other channels and you recognize you would like that channel, it's really easy to find other channels and click on them that you would like them to follow. I follow too many and I have I have to, it's crazy. But I can just go on there for a few minutes and have an idea of what's going on, because a lot of it is cross-pollinated. And then on my website, freedomjunkieradio.com, we are just about to put up the Get Involved tab, which is going to help people to have their Know Your Rights study groups and help people start those all over the world. And those are just so powerful and amazing. And so I would recommend getting on Telegram and following H.A.T.S and Freedom Junkie Radio, and then seeing where that goes from there, because you're not alone.
I'd like to say as well, Betsy, that you're doing a terrific job with Freedom Radio, Junkie Freedom Radio. It's a great website. It's great that you're also giving people a voice to speak, and you're already empowering people. And definitely check out her channel on Telegram. Awesome. Yeah, check that out.
Well, if there were anything else you could say, Stephen, that might help to change the world, what would it be?
I'd say go be positive in yourself. Feel the energy of power to do good things in the world, and love each other. There you go.
That's basically what it comes down to. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing, Stephen. I look forward to having you on again in the future. If there's ever anything that you want to share, just let me know. You know how to reach Stephen, you know how to reach me. And so leave comments, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, and blessings to everybody, to all of the freedom warriors out there, the Freedom Junkie tribe, these high vibe individuals. Thank you.
Thanks.
Till we meet again, be free.
Be free.
I live better than a king ever did. I live better than a